If you guys are excited for a little bit of ETH drama, a little bit of crypto Illuminati drama here, which I think is a really important topic, because this is a topic that, depending on where you sit on it, depending on how you can conceptualize it, this can help lead you either into the most amazing opportunities, or it can really stop you from getting into the best possible coins. So Suzu owns Three Arrows Capital. They have a derivatives trading platform called Deribit. He's like a multi-giga billionaire and has seeded things like Avalanche. He's literally behind some of the biggest projects in the space. He's been a big DeFi builder, and he's really solidified his reputation as just like an absolute legend. The point here is that he said this thing that really set the interwebs ablaze. He says, yes, I have abandoned Ethereum despite supporting it in the past. I should do like a character voice so you guys don't think this is me. Yes, Ethereum has abandoned its users despite supporting them in the past. The idea of sitting around and watching the burn and concocting purity tests while zero newcomers can come afford the chain is gross. Okay, so here's the biggest thing here. And he talks about here how the Ethereum culture suffers from the founder's dilemma. He talks about how everyone's too rich to understand what the normal person is going through. Now, we all know on this channel that the Ethereum chain is just way too expensive. That said, me as a founder, as I'm deploying video games, it's a little bit crazy because like the assets on Ethereum NFT wise are the highest valued, have the most liquidity, the most users, the most buyers. But at the same time, there's no way you can actually have a game ecosystem, and you can't have like normie users. So you can have this amazing seed where the liquidity can just explode and tokens can get to like multi-billion-dollar valuations overnight. You're seeing a little bit of that on BSC, even though the winds come and go with BSC. The question is Ethereum, has it abandoned its users? Nobody's going to spend, a week's pay on a transaction fee. It's ridiculous. Now, that said, there is the promise that ETH can scale and that ETH L2 is the future, but I think this is a necessary conversation. You see here this whole thing around whether or not Su is committing sort of treason here. We're not impressed with this. After relentlessly shilling the super cycle and the case for Ethereum and the case for Solana, and now apparently the case for Avalanche, you have demonstrated a clear lack of both conviction and integrity. No, I don't know if I agree with this. In fact, I disagree with this, that you can make the case for something and then it has to be either or. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I'm gonna quote Gary Vee here. Everyone is or, but it's and, it's not or. Crypto is and, it's not or. The success of Solana has made it so Avalanche will have less barriers. The success of BSC has made it so Solana has less barriers mentally to being a huge competitor as a chain. The success of each one of these chains creates a world in which people are more open-minded, chain agnostic, and that all of these things can succeed. I know what everyone comes to these videos for. You guys want those absolutely historic level gains. You heard about your kids, classmates, cousins, grandpa that put in $10 and walked away a multi-billionaire. Well, what no one tells you is that those gains are rare. The people that have done enough research to understand what could be a mega trend, that allocate enough resources, and that have conviction and know how to hold long enough for these trends to materialize. Those are the people who absolutely crush it and experience these absolutely extraordinary gains. So today we're going to be doing the thing that you love most, where I pull back the veil and show you why I think this one category of coins is about to be a mega trend that, while people have talked about before, I believe is fast approaching an opportunity to allocate before the world all realizes what this is. I believe this is a Solana at $1 type opportunity. So get excited, because we're about to go knee deep into the world of ZK-Rollups. What you need to understand is that ZK-Rollups possess various traits, which we'll go into in a minute, that make them actually superior to just fast and cheap L1s, even Ethereum compatible L1s like Avalanche. And the reality is that there's only a few ZK-Rollup based options out there in the market. We have pretty much StarkX, Immutable X, and ZK Sync 1.0. We're looking to see ZK Sync 2.0, as well as the fully featured StarkNet, which would allow for all kinds of smart contracts capabilities capabilities, whereas Immutable X is built on Starkware. It uses ZK-Rollups, but it doesn't allow for all of that extra smart contract coding functionality that we know and love on Ethereum. So StarkNet is really this breath of fresh air where we get this huge boost to the amount of functionality that can happen on the chain. So what's all the hype about? Well, the reality is that ZK-Rollups actually get cheaper the more people use them. The higher the traffic, the cheaper and more affordable it gets. So there's not these scalability issues that exist with Solana. At a certain point, Solana's blocks might fill up, it might get spammed. At a certain point, which we've already reached, Avalanche is going to start getting really expensive. So what did we see? Rollups like DYDX and Immutable X are already cheaper than Avalanche. StarkNet releases in a week's time in ZK Sync 2.0, and AltDA on StarkNet in early 2022 gets fees down to a penny. You don't just get 10,000x at once at the end of 4 years, it's incremental, see Justin's tweet. But essentially what they're saying is the more people use this, the more scalable, the cheaper it becomes. And that means that we don't end up with the game theory of always having to re-engineer things, or eventually for Avalanche, move to L2 on Avalanche. Eventually for Solana, have to move to L2 for Solana. These are things that become infinitely scalable. It's also important to realize that you could put any base chain under a ZK rollup. So ZK rollups could be on Avalanche, they could be on Ethereum. So I hope at this point you're asking yourself, cool, well, what can I do to get involved? And you'd be asking the right question, because we have ZK Sync 1.0 and 2.0 coming. Guess what? There's definitely going to be a token. We also have StarkNet coming out. We have DYDX, which did this amazing airdrop. It's built on StarkNet. The reality is that all of these projects are eventually going to have tokens. So if you want to potentially get that airdrop, I would be connecting accounts here to ZK Sync and depositing a little bit of ETH just to activate your wallet there. You can do this really easily through wallet.zksync.io. This is super easy. You just click on Ethereum and you can deposit some funds. I believe that these airdrops will not only be a really massive opportunity, especially for people looking to generate a few $1,000 out of nowhere. These could be your starting chips here at the table. Highly recommend you go in and at least activate your wallets, bridge a little bit of money, and start playing around on L2. This is your entryway, almost guaranteed to be free money. Today's gonna be a different type of video, but it's a list video. You guys love lists, what can I say? Today we're gonna be going over a list of everything I've invested into in recent memory. Some things you know, some things you don't know, and I'll explain to you why I bought into them. Now jumping in here, of course, we have UFO. This one is up now, I think 47x. It was as high as like 53x from when we started covering it. I went in pretty heavily into UFO. This one is great. I've taken a very small amount of profit so far. UFO is awesome. I still think it could grow from here. It's got that perfect balance of meminess and metaverse, and their fair launch is showing that it is the ultimate pumptastic tokenomics. So shout out to everyone who got into UFO. Super cool for them to have a fully diluted market cap that's exactly the same as their circulating market cap. You've got to love it. Now next, of course, is Monkey Ball. This thing is in IDO mode. I think it's going to do really well. I actually haven't checked out if the token has launched or not, but it's in this launch mode. Again, wherever this goes, wait for it to come down off the highs, because this one is super hyped. Next, we have the Syndicate, Sin.City. This one is absolutely insane. You have a bunch of cool VCs, Alex, myself, KSI, Animoca, Kieran Warwick from Alluvium. It just goes on and on and on. What I wish you could see here is the graphics, because it's actually ridiculously sick. It's got like a really cool kind of GTA, but immersive, high quality graphics feel to it. I would say that this is one of the most AAA games I've seen. It's also a card auto battler, so it really fits well with NFTs. Again, I'm a pre-sale investor here. I know a lot of people join their Discord, but make sure that you're following this one. Now, switching games a little bit, we actually have Opulus. Opulus is a project that focuses on music royalties through NFTs. It's built on Algorand. The token is trading on Ethereum. This one's been pumping like crazy, so it's pretty high. I ended up giving away like $2,000 worth of Opulus on Twitter giveaways. So if you missed that one, just pay attention here. So what I love about this is it's a real company with real history of paying out artists through publishing, and they finally launched their own Opulus token. But again, I couldn't be more excited for real ownership of copyrights being distributed direct to consumer, direct to the decentralized web. The model of the music industry will get completely disrupted by this. And what's not to love about changing an entire dinosaur industry and bringing them into Web3 hook, line, and sinker, starting with the artists? Again, I hope this helps you understand how I'm seeing the market. I'm looking for scalability. I'm looking for new projects in the Polkadot ecosystem, and I'm looking for games and metaverse projects, as those to me represent the next evolution of this industry. My biggest contributions to this space are fast arriving, and you'll be seeing some of the awesome tech that I've helped create within the coming days and weeks. Pretty much everything I've worked for the last 4 years is about to come out, and you're about to see the foundation, the petri dish that I will grow the next 10, 20, 30 years of my life's work from. So I'm super excited to show this to you. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. As always, I'm EllioTrades. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you subscribe with that bell notification on so you don't miss huge alpha leaks like this one, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.